The heavy wooden doors of the castle creaked open with a groan that echoed through the desolate courtyard. Belle hesitated for a moment, clutching the folds of her cloak tighter against her chest as the cold wind swept in behind her. She had walked through dark forests and overgrown paths to reach this place, each step heavy with dread and determination, but the sight before her made her heart falter. The grand hall stretched endlessly, lit by flickering torches that threw restless shadows across tall stone walls. Dust lingered in the air, disturbed only by her footsteps that seemed louder than they should have been. Though the castle was magnificent in its design, age and neglect had left it worn, cracked and eerily empty, as though life had been drained from it long ago. She took another cautious step inside, her eyes darting to every corner, half expecting something or someone to lunge at her from the shadows. The silence was heavy, broken only by the faint sound of dripping water echoing from somewhere deep within. Yet despite the desolation, she could sense eyes upon her, unseen but undeniably present. She swallowed hard, forcing herself not to tremble. She had promised herself to be brave. Her father's freedom depended on it. From the far end of the hall, a deep growl rolled out, low and unearthly, making the torches flicker as though the sound itself disturbed the air. Belle froze, her heart hammering, her throat tightening with fear. The growl turned into words, slow and deliberate, resonating through the stone walls. "You entered my castle willingly?" Belle's lips parted, but no words came at first. She forced herself to stand tall, though she felt smaller than ever under the weight of that voice. "Yes," she whispered, her voice trembling, then louder, steadier. "Yes, I came willingly. Please let my father go, take me instead." From the shadows a figure emerged, massive and looming. His form was both human and animal, shrouded in a cloak that barely concealed the breadth of his shoulders or the claws curling from his hands. His face was partially hidden, but his eyes, burning, golden, and fierce, locked on her with a mixture of rage and curiosity. The beast stepped closer, the floor trembling faintly with his weight. Belle gasped but held her ground, though every instinct urged her to run. "Do you understand what you are offering?" the beast asked, his voice rough and layered with something more than anger. Pain, perhaps, or weariness. "I do," Belle replied, surprising even herself with the strength in her tone. "My father is old, frail. His life would not survive this captivity. Mine will. So let him go free, and I will stay in his place." For a long, unbearable moment, the beast said nothing. He studied her as though searching for deception, for some hidden intention. His eyes narrowed, but then with a sharp wave of his clawed hand, the iron gates at the far end of the hall clanged open. "Your father is free," he growled, "but you belong to me now." The words settled like chains around her, and for the first time, true terror surged in her veins. Still, she thought of her father, of his frail hands trembling as he had coughed in that prison cell, and she knew she could not falter. She nodded, silently accepting the fate she had chosen. The beast turned sharply, his cloak swaying behind him as he started up a vast staircase. His voice echoed back to her. "Follow." Belle's legs felt heavy, but she forced herself to move. The stone steps rose high, each one worn with age, and her breath quickened as they ascended into a long corridor lined with portraits. She glanced at them as she walked, noticing something strange. All the faces were blurred, the paint cracked or smeared as though someone had clawed at them in rage. The atmosphere was suffocating, but she followed the beast into a room that surprised her. It was a library, vast beyond anything she could have imagined, its shelves stretching high into the shadows of the ceiling, lined with books of every kind. A fire roared in a grand hearth, casting warmth into the otherwise cold room. Belle stopped, her fear momentarily replaced by awe. She had always loved books, but she had never seen such a collection, not even in the richest homes of her village. The beast noticed the light in her eyes and tilted his head. His expression softened for a brief instant, though his voice remained harsh. "You may read here. You will find no escape, but you will not be without distraction." Belle turned to him, her fear warring with curiosity. "Why show me kindness?" she asked quietly. The beast's eyes darkened and his voice grew heavy. "It is not kindness, it is necessity. A prisoner who despairs too much becomes useless, even to me." His words chilled her, yet she sensed the lie beneath them. There was something in the way he averted his gaze, as if he feared her question had touched something buried deep inside him. "Dinner will be brought to you," he said abruptly, stepping back into the shadows of the hall. "You will not leave this castle. Ever." With that he was gone, the echo of his footsteps fading into silence. Belle sank into a chair by the fire, her heart racing, her mind spinning. Fear lingered, but alongside it, curiosity sparked. Who was this creature that could sound so monstrous, yet show her a library instead of a dungeon? What curse or choice had twisted him into this form? As the fire crackled, Belle allowed her thoughts to wander. She remembered the moment she had found her father locked away, the desperation in his eyes when she had promised him she would take his place. She had been terrified then, and she was terrified now, but she also knew something she had not before. She was stronger than she realized. Her courage had brought her here, and it would have to carry her through whatever came next. Night fell, and the castle seemed to breathe with life in the dark, the walls groaning, the wind howling through broken windows. Belle could not sleep. She wandered to the window, gazing out at the moonlight glinting off the wild forest below. Somewhere, she thought, her father was walking free, heading home. That thought gave her a measure of peace. Then she heard it again, that low, sorrowful growl echoing faintly from deep within the castle. It was not the sound of a predator hunting or a master raging. It was the sound of loneliness, of pain carried too long. Belle shivered but did not recoil. Instead, she whispered softly into the silence, "Perhaps there is more to you than the beast you seem." And though she did not know if the creature could hear her, the castle grew still, as if holding its breath, waiting for what would come next.